India have tasted defeat for the first time in the ICC World Test Championship, with New Zealand recording a convincing victory in the first test at Wellington. Now India face a challenge to equalise things at Christchurch and take back those 60 points and come home with a victory to their name. Hello and welcome to Latestly. My name is Nishad and we are going to look ahead to the second test between India and New Zealand at Christchurch. Will India bounce back? Firstly, the patterns that have haunted India in the past came back at Wellington. As we saw, the batsmen struggled to adjust, that being the first test, and then the New Zealand tail wagged, which then only increased their lead. India lost an opportunity right there to put pressure on the hosts. Secondly, there were questions over selection. Should India have played Wriddhiman Saha and Ravindra Jadeja ahead of Rishabh Pant and Ravichandran Ashwin? That was a burning question. So heading into Christchurch, India need to get their act together, starting with the batting. Now Mayank Agarwal up front was the standout. He showed good application, but needs to convert those starts and get those big scores, because if he does, then of course he sets the template for the rest of the order. Now talking about Prithvi Shaw, he's a young batsman, didn't have a good time in the first test, but it's a little too early to comment on him, and India would do well to back him in the second test, and there's no point in making a change. But if India are to bounce back, the fulcrum of the batting, that is Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli combined, need to perform. Talking about Kohli, he's not had the best of tours to New Zealand, so perhaps the stage is set for him to put in that big innings and help India come back. As far as the wicket-keeping question goes, it's a little tricky. Now, when Rishabh Pant is played, a lot of people say, why is he played? And when he's benched, as he was during the limited overs internationals, people ask, why isn't he playing? So it's a little bit tricky here. Now, Wriddhiman Saha has kept wickets for India in test matches throughout the home season. Before that, in the away test matches, we saw Rishabh Pant was keeping wickets. Even he did so in the West Indies. Now they bought back Rishabh Pant because they felt Pant obviously gives more depth to the batting. He's rated a better batsman than Saha, but make no mistake that Saha is more than a competitive test batsman, even in challenging conditions. But if you're to pick someone on wicket-keeping skills, then of course Wriddhiman Saha should get the nod ahead of Rishabh Pant. Now coming to the bowling. Should India have brought in Ravindra Jadeja for the first test? They played Ravichandran Ashwin, and Ashwin didn't have the best of times. He did get 3 wickets in the first innings, but it wasn't his best spell. So there is a question as to whether Jadeja can be played ahead of Ashwin, because Jadeja is a better batsman, gives more depth to the batting, and perhaps can do a better job with the ball. That's a question India have to answer. Then talking about the fast bowling, one of the key things that is affecting India is Jasprit Bumrah's form. Since he's come back from injury, it hasn't been easy. In fact, it's never easy coming back from injury. So he hasn't got his rhythm back yet. The question is, do India want to play Umesh Yadav with Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Shami? The 3 of them combined very well during the home series, but with this being a short test series, you wouldn't want to make that change. Perhaps give Bumrah that game and allow him the time to get back into rhythm. As far as New Zealand go, they are a formidable side on home soil. The only question heading into the second test for them is whether Neil Wagner would come back into the team, and if you go by the indications, he would, because he's been a consistent performer. In that case, Kyle Jameson may have to make way. And remember, Jameson was very impressive on test debut at Wellington, but what if New Zealand opt for a 4-man pace attack and all of them play with the spinner Ajaz Patel sitting out? So who do you think will win the second test? Remember, in 2014, India were in a similar position. They were 1-0 down, and in the second test, they had an opportunity to win the game, only to see Brendan McCullum score a magnificent triple century and take that chance away from India. In the first test here as well, India could have put pressure on New Zealand. So it's all about capitalizing on those chances and making them count. If India are to bounce back at Christchurch, that's what they have to do. Capitalize on those crucial moments. So that's it from us here from Latestly. Do log into the website for a lot more on the cricket world and the second test match between India and New Zealand.